everyone, and welcome to the Alara Canfield Show, the Awaken to Happiness Now Global Series. Thank you so much for being here with us today. Today we have on the show Krystalya Marie, and we were just talking. It's like, well, we haven't had her on in a while. It's like, what happened? Yeah. So we had Krystalya on before, earlier in the seasons, so I'm so glad that she's back with us today. And today she's going to be talking to us about secrets to prosperous living. And so because the theme for the season is living your prosperous life, just makes total sense. So today we're going to be talking about some tools for finding what is keeping you from the wealth and prosperity you desire and deserve. Simple tools for reducing stress around money in minutes, how to have more loving support to create the abundant life you desire, how to overcome any fear that is stopping you from creating the abundance you desire, how loving yourself can improve your wealth and prosperity, why letting go and trusting are a key to your wealth and prosperity, and tips for changing your beliefs about your wealth and prosperity instantly. And if you're on the live page, you'll see two of the Krystagraphs. I'll have Krystalya talk about them a little bit later. And they're also in the email that went out earlier today. And I'll have her talk about those in just a few moments. So for those of you who do not know Krystalya, I'll just tell you a little bit about her. You can read up on her on the bio on the live page and in the email, of course. But one of the things that I really love that Krystalya works with are these Krystagraphs, and she's an international speaker, trainer, and self-empowerment guide. And Krystalya Marie empowers you to discover your own innate abilities for healing your body, mind, and spirit. And after healing a golf ball-sized lump in her breast with a Krystagraph that she had drawn, Krystalya began creating Krystagraphs for healing all types of ailments. And so she now shares these Krystagraphs with thousands of people worldwide. And Krystalya is the Inner Peace Director for 10 Million Clicks for Peace, a best-selling co-author with Deepak Chopra in the Wake Up book series, author of the 1 Minute Energy Tune-Up series of books and products, and former radio talk show host. So she has been busy doing all sorts of wonderful things. And so I'm so glad that she's here with us today to share with us information about prosperity and how we can live a more prosperous life. And so before I invite Krystalya to the show, I just want to invite all of you to just take a moment to center yourself in your heart, center yourself or ground yourself into Mother Earth to be connected to that wonderful, nurturing, supportive energy, and also connect into the great central sun, spirit, source, creator, and connect into that blissful oneness, just that peaceful energy, and bring it all together into your heart. And as you're listening to this conversation today that we're having, just know that my guides are also bringing in some higher dimensional energies to help facilitate change and healing for all of you who are listening now and listening later. So just be open to receiving, and from time to time come back to your heart space and radiate that love out to everyone listening now and listening later to support them so that they can get the most out of this conversation and this call as well. So I invite you to join me and everyone else on this call in this radiant love, radiant light healing circle. So please join me in welcoming Krystalya to the show. Krystalya, welcome.
Alara, thank you. I'm so excited to be here today with you, and such a great intro. I like how you just brought that energy in. It felt so juicy and wonderful. Thank you.
Good. Yay. Thank you. And that's what it's about. For me, it's all about the energy as well, and the energy of the love from above, the nurturing support from below, plus our own energies. That's, to me, that is one of the keys to helping us to have a prosperous life. What do you think? We'll start from there.
I totally agree with you. In fact, to me, that is like one of the biggest keys of the whole aspect of having a prosperous life. It isn't just about money. It's about having balance and having love, joy, peace, all of those things in our life. And I think we sometimes forget that as we get caught up in the prosperity is all about money stuff.
Yeah, and that's, it was when I first, was thinking about the theme for the season, living your prosperous life. I wasn't thinking about the money part. I was thinking about everything in your life, because, in Star Trek, they, Spock says to live life something and prosper, right? And for me, it's like he wasn't talking about money. What does he say?
Right.
I mean, oh my God, I was saying it all day today, and now I'm suddenly blank. But prospering for me, it means having an abundance of all the good things in your life and using all of those things in your life in a balanced way, like you said, to enjoy life, to have the fullness of living, and being happy and content and peaceful and blissful and, just doing everything that your heart desires to do. To me, that's a prosperous life, right?
It absolutely is a prosperous life. And you just reminded me of a mantra that I use quite frequently. In fact, almost every day I do it. And I do it 108 times. And it's as simple as peace, love, harmony, bliss. Peace, love, harmony, bliss. And to me, those define what prosperity really is.
Oh, absolutely. I love that. That's beautiful. Thank you. That's a great tip for all of us that we can do, every day as well, right?
It's so simple, and, you literally, as you play something like that through your mind, what happens is you start to create more peace, love, harmony, and bliss in your life without doing anything further, because you're guided to those things that bring more of those into your life. Magically, spiritually, however you want to define that, but it seems like magic at times because of how such simple little thing, a saying that can change so much in your life, because it's what energy you're putting out into the world, and what you put out into the world is what you bring back to yourself. Oh,
absolutely. And if you're saying that mantra throughout the day, you're focusing on it, right? So what you focus on, you attract, right? Because where your thought goes, where your focus goes, that's where energy goes, right? So it intensifies those thoughts, feelings, or emotions, right?
Absolutely. It certainly does. And it makes, like I said, it can make a huge difference in your life with something as simple as that kind of thing, where you're focusing on simple little words, keeping it as, it's really important to keep it really simple. I see people write out these affirmations and things that are like 20 words and all these things in it. And to me, that confuses the mind versus allowing it to be as simple as peace, love, harmony, and bliss.
And it's about the energy behind those words anyways, right? So you don't need to use a lot of words to express joy, for example,
Right. You really don't need to have any extra words. The joy, if you just sat and someone just said joy, 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 and you had your eyes closed, you can feel a change within your body if you're just allow yourself, if you quiet your mind a little bit and just listen to the word for a moment, it'll change how you feel about the rest of your life around you for the moment. Or the word love, or any of the ones we just used. I mean, they really do. I mean, you can actually sense it inside of your energetic body if you tune in a bit.
Absolutely. And, this is something that we've all talked about, we've all done experiments on. But, if you take a glass of water and you put joy on the outside of the bottle, on a piece of paper or something, that water has now been transformed. And as you drink it, you will start to feel joyful. I mean, this has been tested. There's scientific studies. So it's absolutely true. But we don't do it, because it's so simple, right? We don't do it. We want something complicated. But
right.
Sometimes it doesn't have to be that complicated.
Well, it's funny that you bring that up, because I'm a big fan of Dr. Emoto's work and that research that was done. And I actually put my Krystagraphs on the water bottle that I'm drinking from.
Yes, absolutely. Oh, and that reminds me of, I used to have this beautiful, it's like a coaster, but it's of a medicine wheel, that my teacher had given me. And somewhere along the way in my moving in the past year, it's gone. It's like, I miss it so much. And it's like, and that's what I used to have my water on, right? On that. Right. And it's like, it's gone. And it's like, oh man, I need to get it. So thanks for reminding me. I'm meeting a friend of mine in Venice in April, and I'm going to ask her to bring me one. So,
cool.
So
yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to ask my husband to remind me after the call. So I want to talk a little bit about the Krystagraphs because I put 2 of them on the live page as well as in the emails, right? And so people may be wondering, oh, what are these? And for those of you who are on the call now, if you go to the live page and you take a look at them, I want to ask you, like, when you look at them, do you experience anything? And I know, Krystalya, you're going to go through it some more because I remember what we did last time that we had you on the show. And I'm curious as to, did people experience anything just from looking at the pictures, So you can write that into the Q&A, that'd be great. So yeah, so can you tell us a little bit about the Krystagraphs, because since I already put them out there, right?
Yes, and first I want to say thank you for putting them out there, and secondly, just so the audience knows, there are Krystagraphs that are not freely given out because they can shift people's energy, and I don't want to manipulate someone and put them into certain conditions and so on. So I'm real careful what I hand out and allow people to put out there. These 2 are definitely safe to be used by anyone. And a little bit about the Krystagraphs. You mentioned earlier that I healed a lump the size of a golf ball. And literally I went for a year doing alternative healing work that I had learned. I was actually a practitioner of the work I was using, soul retrieval work, and that wasn't working. I was living in the Sedona area, and if anyone knows, Sedona has a plethora of healers, and I probably spent money at every one of them.
Yeah.
And one day a medical intuitive said to me, you need to draw those images floating in your aura. And I had dismissed Reiki because of images in Reiki because I thought that was silly. But the other work I'd been doing with the soul retrieval work had images in it. So I had sort of been shifted a little bit. But the idea of me drawing anything was kind of a joke because my father was a professional artist, and he said, you're not good at drawing anything. So I was totally, truthfully, I actually asked other artists to redraw them at one point. But anyway, so in a 20-minute process after a few weeks of starting to draw these images, I was guided how to use a couple different ones, actually 4 different ones. And in that process, literally removed the lump from my breast in 20 minutes.
Wow.
And as you said, I had a lot of other ailments after that, and it was kind of like after 8 months, I finally said, Spirit, please send me other people because I'm tired of getting sick and having to get the next symbol.
Right.
But they are really simple to use, so the people that are on the webinar here, if you look at them, you can absorb the energy. I was guided initially to use them by absorbing the energy into the body through the skin of your non-dominant hand. But my students have been my biggest teacher on this because so many found so many different ways to use them. And I basically say whatever you feel guided to do, that's the way to use them now.
Oh, absolutely. And that's the thing, sometimes, because I remember when we had you on the show before, I was able to perceive energy from them by looking at them, but we also, put our hand, I'm doing it on the computer screen, and I put my hand on the screen, not on it, but just above it, and I could feel the energy, and I don't know what's going on, Krystalya, but I'm having not a hard time, but I'm hearing a lot of sound in my ears, and it's like, what? So it's like, I don't know. It's like, what's going on here? It doesn't normally happen, so it's like. Oh,
wow. I'm not hearing anything odd in the call, in the line.
No, I know. It's not external. I think it's definitely internal.
Okay.
So it's like, okay, what's going on here? I know. It's distracting me, so it's like, sorry about that. But,
well, that's okay. I've had that happen to me. I actually had it happen one time. I'm going to share this because it might help you. Okay. And it'll help the listeners. So I was in a hotel, and I heard a loud alarm. And I assumed it was an alarm in one of the other units, and I looked out the window to see if fire were coming or what was going on. And I started to call the front desk when I realized depending on where I moved in the room, didn't change the volume of the sound, and I realized it was totally in my head. And when I finally sat in meditation, it was Spirit trying to give me a message, and it was that loud. It was like a fire alarm going off in my head. So, I might recommend that you, as I speak, just kind of get quiet and ask for that guided message.
And I got the message because the message was when you were talking about drawing and your father saying that you weren't good at drawing and art and so on. Well, I was going through the same thing like that. Well, I don't know if anybody ever said, probably somebody said it, but I believe that I couldn't do art or draw or anything, and so I never did. But I had been told that that there were lots of images, pictures, or symbols in my energy field that needed to come through. And I said, but I can't draw, that was my thing. It's like, I can't draw, I can't do art. And then for the past month, I've, done 2 canvases, which I think are beautiful. My husband is not so sure, but I think they're beautiful. But it's like, okay, this is a sign, you talking about this and, me now suddenly creating art and already having a 3rd piece already in my mind that's coming to me about what the 3rd piece is going to be. It's like, you know what? Maybe I am an artist, right? And so,
well, the other thing is that this, if you're sitting with the chakra opening and balancing symbol, which is the one with the little purple background in front of you, you open that creativity center whenever you're opening all the centers, but the creativity center is the one that allows us to be open to doing creative things like drawing and all of that.
Right.
So, you may have triggered some things there as well.
I know, that's what I'm thinking. It's like, I only started experiencing the sound right now in my ears as when you came on the call. So when this call started, and I started talking about these Krystagraphs, So it's like, okay, there's some message here for me, and there may be a message here for somebody else too. So, so take that as you will, people. It is what it is. So these 2 images that we have, these 2 Krystagraphs that we have on the live page or the email, one is the balance in the chakras, and the other one is about receiving, right?
Yeah, it's literally used to open yourself up to receive. And for many of the people that are typically on these calls, that's one of our biggest challenges. We tend to want to give, and we forget to allow ourselves to receive. And so that's one of the reasons I love that you picked this one, because I think it's really important for us to learn how to receive and to open ourselves up to receive. And people literally have done this little exercise we're going to do at some point during the call with these 2 images and written me within 24 hours. One woman wrote that she had gotten a $500 raffle ticket and won. Nice. And it's not always about money. So it's different things they receive. So it's fun because you just don't know once you're really open to allowing yourself to receive what may happen. So,
That's true. And receiving is about, as I had said when I opened up the circle, I said, be open to receiving, right? So be open to receiving the energy, be open to receiving the wisdom and the information and everything from everybody on the call, listening now and listening later. There's no time anyway, right? So so be open to receiving, because I know that a lot of times we don't. I'm also much more of a giver than a receiver. I like to give, and receiving is a muscle I'm still working with.
Well, there's one thing that really opened my eyes about receiving quite a few years ago, and I can't remember who actually gave me the example at the time. I've heard it many times since. And that was a situation where someone says a wonderful thing about you, like, wow, I love your beautiful green eyes, or your smile is gorgeous. And the first thing we typically do is say thank you. And the next thing we do is we look for something to say nice to that person, right? Well, by doing that, you've taken away from them the gift they just gave you instead of just allowing yourself to receive it. It doesn't mean that some other point you might run into them and have something deep within you want to say that's wonderful about them, but it kind of takes away from them the minute you have to deflect back and give them something in return. And it doesn't keep you in that receiving mode. Mm-hmm. And so I think that's an important piece for us to remember. Just allow ourselves to receive. There may be another time that you're going to give to them, and let them receive.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. Thank you for that.
So
let's talk about what is keeping us from the wealth and prosperity that we desire and deserve. And I know that the key word in here for me is deserve. We are deserving of the wealth and prosperity that we desire. And so many of us have self-worth issues, that we don't deserve. And but we do. There's no question about it. We are so loved, and we are deserving, and we are worthy of whatever it is that we choose for our lives, right?
Right. So the first thing is that our beliefs about ourselves, and as you've pretty much highlighted here, if we don't really believe we deserve it, and we're talking on a subconscious level, you guys, so often people say, no, I know I deserve it. And I can tell you, if someone brought it up to you and said, you really deserve this, and you're like, yeah, I know. The minute you do that, you're deflecting back because your subconscious mind is saying, no, you don't really. You don't know this. Mm-hmm. And so often we think we've done the work and we've gotten past that. But if I can, I'm going to tell everybody here, warning, if someone brings it to your attention, take it seriously, even if you think you've done all the healing work for ages on that issue. So deserving is a big piece. Self-esteem and self-love, and I call myself a self-love enthusiast because, to me, when we start to really love and approve of ourselves, we shift the energy to the point that then we are really open. We are starting to know that we are deserving. And the more we build that self-love and self-esteem, the more we open up to receiving, the more we open up to knowing that we deserve whatever it is we want in our life. Mm-hmm. The other key, though, is sometimes we think we know what we deserve, and Spirit has an idea that's even bigger. So be careful that you don't, make it too small. Mm-hmm. Allow Spirit to deliver something bigger. Because I don't think we'd think anywhere near as big as the universe is willing to provide if we allow ourselves to receive what the universe is going to give us. So,
absolutely, yeah.
Then the other piece is those underlying beliefs we have. So the one that was most important for me was after years and years of doing self-esteem work, self-love work, and all of that, I discovered with a teacher I was working with that I had a belief that God was going to punish me if I loved myself. Now, if you can imagine for a minute standing in front of the mirror and looking straight in your eyes every day for 13 years saying, I love you, Krystalya. All is well. I love you, I love you, I love you. And then finding that belief, because things were not showing up that I really love myself. So finding any underlying belief like that may be so contradictory that your subconscious mind isn't going to take in what you're saying as affirmations is critical, and bridging forward from that belief. Because my subconscious mind was like, are you kidding? You think you love yourself, but God's going to punish you if you do that. You sure you want to do that? Okay? So that's the kind of reaction I was creating in my life. So I kept attracting abusive relationships and, doing workaholism and, all of those kinds of things because I really didn't believe it, even though I was saying it every day and doing all the processes that so many different people taught me to do and so on. So finding that underlying belief and bridging forward from it to really wipe it out and get down to the DNA level and the core cellular level to change things really makes a huge difference to the kind of impact you make on how quickly you move forward.
Absolutely. And, I was just going to say right now to the listeners, right now, if you're having any sort of reaction to this conversation about the whole self-love piece, that most likely means that there's some work for you to do around this piece. Get some facilitation, get some healing around the self-love piece, because this is huge, huge. And, we're all working on it. Don't get me wrong, we are all working on this piece. And sometimes it goes a bit more smoothly than other times, and really easily and quickly. And other times there's a bit more, you have to go deeper, and
Right.
do the heavy lifting kind of thing. So if you're having a reaction to this, that may be why. Just putting that out there.
Laura, I totally agree with you. If people are having any kind of reaction to this at all, I'd look really deeper at the whole thing, because it's important. It is, in my opinion, the most important thing for us to do. Now, there are a lot of other ways to start to clear things and so on, but if we can clear our self-love, our self-esteem, our self-worth, whatever word you want to use for this, or all of them.
It's all the same, really. It comes down to self-love at the end. The end.
Exactly.
But,
Exactly. But if you can clear that, and I think it's a journey. I don't think you ever clear it 100% in your lifetime. But if we can clear that, we will have a much easier time in our life getting to those things we deserve, because we've allowed ourselves to be open to receive them, because we know we deserve them, and not just we believe we deserve them, but we absolutely know without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah. And, the more that you do love yourself, truly, and accept yourself and receive all of who you are, then there's no question about where is the wealth, where is the prosperity, where is the abundance, then it's just a matter of choosing for it and taking action. And I don't know. I mean, it's just all there because it's you,
Right.
So can we talk?
You just said a word that I want to talk a little bit about. You said taking action.
Yeah.
And I'd like to say that for me, I realize I can be a workaholic. Now, I've gotten way past where I used to be, but you can find lots of things to do, folks. So when Alara says take action, it's not about taking any action. It's about taking what I like to call inspired action.
Exactly.
To listen to the guidance and then take action on those things you're guided to take, not just being busy doing things.
Yeah. And that's the key. I just don't want people to think that, all you have to do is love yourself and then everything just magically appears,
Right. No, I agree. And yet lots of action that doesn't have any guidance can frustrate people. They're like, I'm taking lots of action. Well, take a moment. Sometimes it's better to take a moment or a few moments or a day break.
Or sometimes a few weeks.
Or a week or two or a month.
A few weeks,
Than it is to keep taking actions every which way with no real guidance.
I agree. Yeah, totally agree.
But yes, you absolutely have to take action. You can't just open yourself to receive and sit there like a Buddha and hope it all just shows up. Like a Buddha statue, I meant. I didn't mean anything bad about Buddha.
Well, I mean, even Buddha, he did more than just sit there. He was teaching, and that's doing, So he was teaching, and that's how students came to him, and, people gave him food and blah, blah, blah. But he was doing something. He wasn't just sitting there meditating 24/7. He was teaching. So,
he absolutely was.
I'm just saying.
No, it was a bad example on my part. Actually, I was trying to backpedal because I'm like, that wasn't a great example.
No, we were able to turn it around. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about some simple tools for reducing stress around money. Because, let's say right now we don't have any money. What can we do to reduce that stress and to be more in the flow of receiving and open to the intuitive guidance and so we can take inspired action?
Well, I would say that my first simple tool is, and we'll walk through how to do it in a little while, is to keep your chakras open and balanced. The reason I say that is because when the energy is flowing, things start to happen for you. When there's blocks in the energy field, your energy has to work harder to move around the block. I like to use the example of when there's a rock in the river, the water has to push against the rock and out around it to get to the other side, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's the same thing with the energy within our body. If we've got one or more of our energy centers, our chakras, closed down, then that energy has to work harder to move around it. So if we can just get the energy flowing, and it's a 20-second process, okay?
Mm-hmm.
We can get the energy flowing. That's one simple way to help get things moving for you. Now, there are energy centers in the body that are specific to different success and health issues that can go on in our body. And so just as an example, the root chakra, which is that red one at the bottom, has to do with feeling supported. So health-wise, we could start having problems with our hips and legs and stuff like that. But financially, we could also have problems if we don't think we're supported or that we can support ourselves. But the minute we get that energy flowing there, we start to see new things that we can do, okay? New things show up that we can then take as that inspired action. So that's the first step. The second one is start to look at what are your beliefs around having prosperity and start clearing them. Start doing some process to start clearing them. And as I mentioned earlier, I prefer to find what I call the lowest common denominator, that really deep belief that's blocking everything else, and bridge forward from there. So using the example I used earlier about God's going to punish me, I believe I came up with 57 affirmations to clear that, starting with, I desire God's love when I love myself. I deserve God's love when I love myself. God loves me when I love myself. Then I started moving into ones about loving myself and my self-esteem. So I used even different words because our subconscious mind uses all those words, whether we like it or not, because it's what we've been trained. The other piece is, and I find this to be kind of the opposite of love, and there's a lot of written materials around that as well, and that is looking for where you have fears and clearing those fears, because fear is the opposite of love, and if we're trying to love ourselves more, what things are we afraid of? In my case, God was going to punish me was my fear. But what things are we afraid of that we need to clear in order to love ourselves more and in order to get the flow of the energy working properly and in order to allow ourselves to hear and take the inspired action? So one of the triggers with it, or trigger is the wrong word, but one of the things that happens a lot of times for people with inspired action is fear, because it's so outrageous what they're being told to do. Okay? So learning to let go of the fear and trusting and taking action, and I have to say the more outrageous the thing I'm guided to do is, the more likely I am to succeed if I take action.
So can you give me an example of that? Maybe I didn't get it.
Yeah, I'll be happy to. So in 2005, when I woke up, I called my broker this last day of the month in January and said, can you go move some money to my checking account to make my mortgage? And he said, what money? Guess I wasn't paying attention. And I thought I had well over $100,000 in that account. So I realized at that point, with all the debt I'd run up and everything else, and the fact that that stock had no value, that I needed to do something quickly, and I didn't want to lose my home. So initially what I did was I asked for guidance, and Spirit told me to list it for $225,000 for sale by owner. And I get so I do, right? The realtor that sold me the house called me up when he saw the little ad in the paper, and he's like, have you lost your mind? I wouldn't even take that listing for more than $208, and you're not likely to even get $200,000 for that house. And I said, well, that's why I didn't call you. Have a great day. And I hung up.
Right.
Over the next month, I got some of the wildest guidance you would not believe, that kept me surviving through the whole thing. and I kept getting guidance to increase the price of the house every time I turned around, and finally did get a realtor involved that would accept my changes whenever I'd call. The last price I raised it to was $277. Okay?
Yeah,
it
wow.
sold for $265 cash within 2 weeks of me raising the price to that number.
Wow. Good job.
So, but, doesn't that sound, I mean, everyone, the realtors, my friends, they all thought I was crazy. And every month, I had no idea where the next house payment was coming from. I had months where the electricity got shut off for a few days while I was trying to scramble to see where the next money was coming from to pay for it. And yet, all of those things happened. I actually got a trip to Australia, first class, during this whole thing as well.
Oh, wow, nice.
All because I listened to inspired action, because no way would I have done any of those things if I just listened to myself. I'd be like, you're going to get on a plane and go to Australia while this crazy stuff's going on if you've lost your mind.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, yeah. Keep going. Go ahead. Yeah.
Does that make, I was just going to ask, so does that make sense? Does that kind of clarify what I mean by inspired action?
Absolutely. And that's what I did as well.
It's critical that we actually take those steps, that we don't just ignore them, because we're almost telling Spirit, well, we don't believe you.
Yeah.
So, I think it's really important for us to all learn to listen for that guidance, and the craziest thing may be the best thing for you to take that action.
And trust, in the guidance that's coming through from Spirit or from your guides or whatever term you'd like to use. Trust it. And sometimes, I think, you start small sometimes and test it out, and then you I don't know.
Yes.
I can't remember doing anything small. I always go do really big things, so but it's okay.
Well,
it all worked out.
Right. I'm sorry.
No. I was just gonna say it all worked out for me, but I always tell my clients just do small things. Just listen to the small things first. Start with something small and then go bigger as you go. But
right.
When the guidance comes, listen to it. Right.
Right.
And so in order to receive the guidance, or the guidance is always there, but to be aware of it, it's really important to be centered, have your chakras be balanced, be aware of your energy field, be aware of your thoughts, be present, right? And be in your heart space as much as you can so that you can actually hear, know, perceive, however you receive information and get it, instead of just always being in your mind and thinking, right?
Yeah, well, that's another piece. That was another one I was going to bring up. Thanks for that. Lead right in. And by the way, there is a symbol called love and trust. It was the first symbol I was given to trust the process for myself, to trust this process of getting these at all. So, but back to your question. To me, the next piece is meditation. And I would say that for me initially, meditation wasn't about sitting quietly. It was about going out in nature. And but my rule was, when I went out in nature that way, was to speak to no one. Okay? Total silence. And I remember there were days where I would do total silence days, like no computer, no telephone, no radio, no music playing, just total silence, go out in nature. And sometimes that can be just as important as sitting and meditating. But whatever works for you, getting quiet and connecting with Source, Spirit, God, whatever word works for you, connecting to Source is really critical in this process to me. And I currently meditate twice a day for 20 minutes minimum. And by the way, for those people that say they don't have enough time to meditate, there is some research that indicates, and it has been true for me, that for 20 minutes of meditation, you can reduce the amount of sleep you need by an hour.
Oh, nice.
So you gain 40 minutes out of this, folks. So,
yeah, I mean, there's more to meditation than, not needing to sleep as much. But for me, it's mostly about getting present, getting quiet, and having this conversation with Spirit. And so, sometimes when you're quiet, and for me anyways, I feel the presence of Spirit in those moments more strongly than when I'm out and about doing my thing. because I'm focused on it, and then
Right.
in that meditative state, you can ask questions, you can express your gratitude and love and feel more of that oneness and bliss and peace and love that is always, always there, and
Right.
start to create your life from that space, because you're in that space of creation when you're meditating, and you're in that space of gratitude. And I could go on and on about this, but absolutely, I totally agree that it's a key. It's a key to anyone's life and day if you'd like to have a prosperous life. Meditation, getting quiet, connecting to spirit, it's important.
Oh, I absolutely agree. And my point was, so many people say, yeah, but I don't have time. And I'm saying you have to make time, because it's that important. And then if you want to buy into the research I've found, and it's worked for me, that helps you justify it because you have extra time because you meditated.
And,
the benefits that Alara's talking about, and I'm talking about, which are phenomenal, by the way. The benefits of meditation are, it's totally changed my life. And I only sleep typically 6 hours a night. And most of my friends call me an energy bunny. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's so many benefits to it. We're not going to go into all that here because there's just
that's the best way to get guidance, frankly.
Yeah,
is
absolutely.
When you're quiet, and then paying attention to the little things that happen around us. So simple little things that we don't pay attention to can be clear messages. And I sometimes, if I want this is one of my ways to get answers from spirit. So if I'm wondering even if something that came to me as that I thought might be inspired action, and I'm not 100% sure, I put up tests for spirit. So what I do is I'll say to spirit, okay, if I'm supposed to do X, whatever I felt guided to do that came to me, then such and such is going to happen. And if I'm not supposed to, then it won't happen. So I'll give you an example. I had somebody reach out to me, and I had 5 people tell me not to do it, but I kept feeling that I was supposed to work with this person. So I did this test, and where I was living at the time, I hadn't seen a single butterfly for 3 months. So I said to Spirit, there's got to be butterflies somewhere around here. I'm in Florida, right? So, when I'm out walking today, show me a butterfly if I'm supposed to work with that person, and otherwise I won't see a butterfly. So I'm walking around, I'm freaking finding myself looking for butterflies. I'm not supposed to be looking for the butterflies. And I kept seeing the little white ones then. So I got to the park, and I went into meditation. I sat quietly in this park, and because I wasn't allowing the white butterflies weren't part of it. So I said, I'm supposed to see one, then you need to show me a color one. So I'm sitting in meditation quietly in the park, and I hear, open your eyes. And I open my eyes from the meditation, and 6 inches from my nose is a monarch butterfly.
Oh, nice. That's a sign.
That's a sign. And so look for the signs, and if you want to use my method, because I like knowing for sure that's the answer, okay?
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, no, that's a great idea, because, I've never thought to do that, but that's a great idea. Because sometimes, sometimes we're not sure, when we get, like you said, when we get these messages, we're not sure. Is this really what I'm supposed to do, So I just want verification or clarification or, confirmation again, before we do something. Yeah.
Right. Yep. And I will say that over the long term, that particular meeting did not work out well. So someone could say, well, that wasn't good guidance, okay? The value I got from the time I spent with that person was so invaluable, I can't complain. Yes, the long term, what we thought we were going to work on together fell apart. And so you also have to look at that. Look at the values you get sometimes. It's not always what we think it's going to be, in other words, as the answer. Just like I said, it was about highest good. What is in our highest good isn't always what we expect it to be. And literally, I gained so much insight and knowledge by working with that person. it was worth way more than anything we had planned to do together.
Absolutely. And that's about seeing the lessons or seeing the value in everything, even something that may look like a challenge, that there's something in there for you. And, we can always be grateful for that. I mean, I know some of the horrific times that I've had in my life, I wouldn't change them for anything because of the blessings that I received through those experiences. And somebody else may think, well, you're crazy. How could you possibly think that was a gift? And it's like, nope, it is. I would not change it for anything. And being able to see those blessings and see those gifts, it just opens you up to receiving even more. And that's part of receiving and loving those experiences, because, sometimes Spirit brought those experiences for you so that you would make a change of some sort or shift in some way, have some sort of transformation, right?
Right. Yeah, the most horrendous, if I were to say, of everything in my life that I've experienced that I can actually say I'm grateful for, and I can actually visualize this person and send them love when I think of them, and that is the man that beat me up and stabbed me. And people say, how could you possibly ever forgive them, and how could you possibly see a blessing in that? I couldn't help people at the level I do today if that hadn't happened, because I needed the journey to learn about self-love. And so I can see that as a blessing. Do I recommend that being no, but it was what I needed for my growth to be who I am today and what I needed to experience. And I can say I am truly grateful for the experience, and I can send him love on a regular basis, and I do. Because he lowered his vibration to help me learn that lesson is the way I see it.
Yeah. I'm not that quite evolved as you, so even though I've forgiven some people, I still have questions, and someday I'm going to ask Spirit, someday about those questions. It's like, really? But, all in all, it's like, I'm grateful, and that's one of the things that I noticed. We haven't really, I'm sure we have talked about gratitude. I always talk about gratitude. But being grateful for where you are right now, what you have right now, and accepting that opens the doors for more, right? For you to receive even more.
It absolutely does. And sometimes, especially those of us in the U.S., and I don't think you're in the U.S., right?
I'm in Austria, but, I was in Canada, so forever, so same thing.
More of the Western culture, so to speak.
Yeah.
When we look at, and I actually wrote a blog post about this a few months ago, when we look at what we have and what millions of other people in this world live like, I can think of a million things to be grateful for, all the way from a running toilet and sinks that have water to, the air and so on, and yet we tend to take those for granted. And your point about gratitude is so important that if you can't think of something to be grateful for, think about those people in those other countries that are living with dirt floors or no cover at all, and no fresh, clean water and so on. And then think about what you should be grateful for, because there is a plethora of things to be grateful for, folks.
Yes, absolutely. Yep, and for me, that's the number one tool and number one tip I share with everyone, is to get into that expansive state of gratitude. And then the abundance and the wealth and prosperity, everything starts to flow when you're in that state, because that is the flow of source. Source is abundant and abundance, and there's no difference. So when you're in that state of gratitude, it's like you're tapped into source, and from there you can create and you can ask for whatever it is you want or manifest what you want and so on and so forth. But you get to see how much is available and how much you already have. And I don't know, life just becomes much more richer, that way.
Well, I think one of the critical pieces about gratitude, people will say, yeah, but I want this or I need that and I don't have it and so on. What you focus on is what you create more of. So are you willing to focus on what you don't have, or do you want to focus on what you do have to create more of having?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it can be that simple. So, yeah, gratitude practice is absolutely, positively important in our lives. And we tend to, like I said, take too many things for granted and not be grateful for them. And
Yeah.
and that's what we're focused on. Just
Absolutely.
so much is focused on fear and anger and, I didn't get my way. What you're focused on is what you create. So think about it from that perspective, not only with the gratitude, but with the self-love, with the opening to receive, all of what we're talking about here. What is it you're focused on? Because if it's not focused on knowing that you have all the abundance in the world available to you, from love to prosperity to peace to all of it,
Yeah.
harmony, bliss, all of that, then you're not going to create that, because that's not what you're focused on. What we focus on is what we create. What we resist keeps persisting as well, and we have to think about that. Are we resisting what's going on around us? And if we are, or we're pushing against, we're not creating.
Yes,
we
I
are,
agree.
but we're creating more of the same instead.
Yeah,
of
more of what we don't really want, right?
Right.
Wow. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. And so I know we're going to do a process as well, right, today. And
Sure.
we want to talk about your special offer as well. And we also have some callers who have questions. So did you want to take a question now and then do the process and then talk about the special offer, or?
That sounds good.
Yeah? Okay.
Sure.
So we're going to take one question now, and then we'll take some more in just a little bit. So we're going to go to phone number ending in 5712. 5712? Hello?
Hello. Hi.
Hi. Hi, Marlene.
Hi. Wow, it's pouring out suddenly here.
Oh.
Anyway, I love this call because it is addressing so many different issues, okay, that have been arising in my life. And you can't push them away, so you got to deal with them face to face. And my question this week is for some reason, it got windy the other day, and my left ear just clogged right up, and it's full with water. And I've tried every remedy, and the things just burn and burn. And I'm trying, to figure out if there's some kind of one of your art things that is good for sinuses, I guess.
Well, yes, I have those. They're not in my special offer, but I do have other ones in addition. But before you go there, with working with that chakra opening and balancing symbol itself, as you open and balance the energy in your head, in your third eye and your throat, basically, the two that are mostly affected here, you will probably see some shifts in experience. But what the question is I would be asking myself if I had that happen is, what is it I'm blocking myself from hearing? Whether this is affecting your hearing or not, it's not a question of outside hearing so much as inside hearing. But what I'm being told to share with you is, ask that question. What is it that I'm not willing to listen for, I'm not willing to hear? And when you get that answer, I suspect that's going to wake up more for you than anything else.
All right. Yeah, I'm writing this down.
Okay, good. You can always go back and listen to this, Marlene, too, right?
I always do. I just was okay, what is it that I don't want to hear? Well, I think I'll listen to the replay.
Yeah. Good. Glad that helps.
Yes, it will. I'm a firm believer in all this energy healing and assistance. And my daughter also has the same name as you, being Crystal, except for she doesn't have the ending on it, and she is an artist. So this is amazing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I'd love to know how this all works out with your ear and as well. So.
Yeah, let us know, Marlene.
Let us know.
I will. Yeah. As we're talking, it's going click, Click.
Good. Good. Wonderful.
Good.
Keep listening and keep receiving, okay, during the call. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Wonderful. Thank you, Marlene.
Thank you, Marlene.
Nice. So it's interesting that Marlene was having stuff going on with her ear, and I was having stuff. And for me, too, Marlene, I know you're still there, it was my left ear that I was hearing a lot of tones and so on and so forth, was in my left ear. So it's interesting. Maybe I was just picking up on yours, what was going on with you. So who knows, right? We'll have to see.
Did she say what ear it was for her?
I think she said left. Yeah.
Okay. And remember, left is the feminine side.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
yes,
that may play a role as well when you're looking at these is, what are you blocking from hearing about your own, allowing yourself to be the feminine you. That's what I just heard to say.
Good one. Yes, I love that. So I'm being, inspired to take one more quick call because they may not be able to stay for the full show. So I'm going to unmute Robert on the web call. So 1 second. Hello.
Hello, darlings. Happy New Year. Happy Lunar Year. It's lovely to be here with y'all today. Y'all sound fabulous.
Thank you, Dr. Robert. Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year to you. Hello, Krystalya. Hello, Shefali. I love you both. I just was listening in today. I thought I'd take a beat to hear your lovely voices and see and hear what you're sharing. And I totally agree with everything, as you well know. What are you focusing on? Oh, my gosh. It's what you're not focusing on. It's the BSOS. What, more importantly, are your distractions? Oh, my gosh. Bright, shiny objects everywhere. Everywhere.
Yes,
so
I think we're suffering from shiny object syndrome these days.
For sure.
Absolutely. So you keep up everything you're doing, the courage and willingness. This year is a huge year. It's a massive year for miracles in the form of, you're right, positive action that is guided by divine love. It's just the way we need to go, and correct navigation is it. So get those coaches and hire those angels and guides and people who are willing to support that transformation in each of us, to continue to remind us the correct navigational course is within us. It's the right map, not the wrong one. Use it. Love you both.
Absolutely. Love you too, Dr. Robert. Thank you so much.
Dr. Robert.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. And by the way, we just said shiny object syndrome. That's SOS.
SOS. I was thinking the same thing. The SOS at the cry out for help. It's like, oh, yeah. We must be on the same wavelength.
That was brilliant that he brought that up. I'm like, oh, my God, how important is that message? SOS.
Yeah, exactly. So thank you, Dr. Robert. So we're going to go back to the phone lines in just a few moments, and we're going to do a process. So I thought let's talk quickly about your special offer, Krystalya, before I get sidetracked. This is such a wonderful and fun conversation that we're having. So for those of you who are on the live page, you can just click on special offer. For those of you on the phone, you can go to awakentohappinessnow.com/Krystalya12. That's Krystalya 12. I'm just going to open it up here as well. So Krystalya, can you share with us a little bit about the special offer that you have for us?
I certainly will. And so first I want to say there's so much in this package that I've provided a getting started guide to give you some tools to actually decide what is in your highest good to work with first. Okay, and so on. So as you're working through it, refer to that guide because it'll help you to decide what's next, what should I work on most. So I've actually included in this package my 7-part prosperity program, which teaches you a lot about prosperity in all areas of life, but its focus is mostly about financial abundance prosperity, and includes, I believe, 45 symbols. It's 90 minutes or 7 90-minute audios that walk you through step by step how to create prosperous living. And so that one, and then, like I said, includes 45 symbols, all kinds of processes, and helps you break through the blocks that have been keeping you stuck from moving forward and healing those issues. Then I also include the 7-part audio program that I have that's called The Art of Healing. And this program actually teaches you the steps I use, and I use with people, clients all the time, that are specific for for healing ailments in our body. And when you're done with that program, other than if you want a specific symbol, i.e. what Marlene was asking about sinuses, I have over 500, so it doesn't include all of them. This includes all the processes and everything. And then, if you needed one for a specific ailment, it's not a lot of money to invest to do that. But I couldn't include over 500. Right. Overwhelm. Then, because sometimes I'm all about empowering people. That's what these programs are all about. They're really about empowering you to have the tools to do this work for yourself. But I don't care who you are. I have the same issue sometimes. Sometimes I have to have someone else reflect or say something to me to get me to see what's really going on, because I'm so in it, I don't see it. So I wanted to make sure people had that opportunity without having to spend the whole amount for a consult. So you get 50% off of one private session from me as well. There's a 50% off coupon in there. Another thing that's really critical in this healing process, and it's taught in both of those programs, is how to write strong, powerful, positive affirmations. So often I hear people using the word limitless and effortless and unconditional and those things. And those all get you focused on conditions and effort and limits, okay? So I teach you how to be more clear about how you write affirmations, and I want to make sure you've learned that well. So I will, if you send them to me through the process, there's a page to send them to me. After you've taken the class, if you send them to me and ask me to review them, you will get personal feedback on the affirmations one time.
Nice.
And then I have couple of group coaching calls, one on prosperity and one on healing that I offer. And we talked about self-love, so I threw in my power symbols for self-love book. And then a bunch of audios, and these audio programs are really to support us in our journey of healing so that we can kind of put some things on autopilot in the process. So one is the World Peace Meditation really helps you create peace within yourself as well, which is where World Peace starts from. Then I have a program that just talks about the 7 causes of illness, like I alluded to about the root chakra earlier referencing the hips and so on. This talks about where the different blocks cause problems in the body and some of the things to prevent and overcome those illnesses. And some people like to meditate with my chakra opening and balancing besides having the symbol, so there's a meditation that's kind of a guided meditation. And I'm a certified Ho'oponopono practitioner, so I've also included some subliminal Ho'oponoponos to let you listen to the Ho'oponopono in the background so it keeps clearing for you. And then these next 3 things, I've created subliminals for prosperity, for health, and for self-love. And they're in 3 different formats. And the page you're looking at says that there's 3 in each of those. There's actually 9 in each of them. So when you get the download, you're actually getting 27 audios there, not 9.
Nice.
So
wow.
Get all that for $97.
Wow. Yeah, that's a full package. And I love how at the beginning you said there's a getting started guide. I see the reason for that now, because it's like, okay, where do I start, right?
Right. And I teach muscle checking, self-applied kinesiology in my program, so that's where I tell people to start. If they don't know how to discern, use the Getting Started guide, which actually starts you. Learn self-applied kinesiology if you don't already know it, and use that as part of your guide to get you to figure out what's the first thing, what's the next thing to do.
Wonderful. Yeah, beautiful. And I love how there's so many different pieces to this special offer that are going to fit with anybody and everybody regarding wherever they're at, so for some of us, it might be, okay, I need some self-love, you know. Some of us, it might be, okay, I need to figure out the prosperity piece. That's what it is. And then somebody else, it might be about healing. You know, somebody might want to know about the chakras, and I love the Ho'oponopono. I just love that, you know. So it's like, it's powerful. It works, you know. And and the key is use some of these and do them. Try them out, you know. Don't just.
And with all the subliminals, I actually sit in meditation. I created them myself. I don't hire someone else to do it. I sit in meditation when I do them, and I actually do Ho'oponopono with them. And I infuse them with the energy of specific symbols, Krystagraphs, for that particular topic as well when I'm doing them. So it's a little more than just buying a subliminal off the shelf that's mass-produced.
Right. Oh, nice. Oh, perfect. Yay. So that's amazing. Thank you. And this is available, like I said, at awakentohappinessnow.com/Krystalya12. It'll be on the replay page and replay email as well. And I forgot to mention, because we've just talked about so many different things, I forgot to mention in the happiness kit you have a bonus for all of the listeners as well, and that's the Secrets to Attracting More Love audio program. Can you just briefly talk a little bit about that as well? Because, you know, I want them to go ahead and get that as well. That'll be in the replay email. And I know there's some symbols in there as well from what I looked at it.
There are a few Krystagraphs in there and a guided meditation for attracting love, as well as an audio program that kind of talks you through how to use some of the symbols, and some written materials that go with it as well. So it's a combination of all of that for attracting more love in your life. And it stems from, now I have to share this because I think people will really get it. If you're in the corporate world, I was working in such a situation where everybody was really negative, and I started this process even before I got the symbols, but I added to it since, and that is that when I started filling the room with love, people started acting differently in the meetings. And that was how this whole thing got started. And then I started saying, well, why couldn't I attract more loving people to myself? And I created that meditation, and it's amazing the different people like you and Dr. Robert and many others that I've attracted into my life because of that meditation and that process.
Absolutely. And, you know, that's one of the things that people don't realize. If you are working in corporate, or I used to work in the government, you know, sometimes, you know, we'd be in meetings and, you know, let's face it, those meetings are not fun. But if you do know some energy processes, you know, you can just call in love, call in light, do Reiki, whatever, in that room just to clear the space and make the space better, you know, or in your own office or cubicle, whatever, you know, you can bring light and love and energy to your space, and that will help to shift the energy of your space, the building, the floor, the people around you. So there's so much that we can do just with, you know, energy and love and intention, right?
Absolutely. Literally, I watched meetings where people would be arguing with each other, and I would just sit quietly while they were arguing, and I'd start pumping love energy into the room. And pretty soon they're all coming back, and they're finding a way to answer. You know, they're all working together, and they found a clear answer. And it's amazing when we can shift the energy and just stay more positive ourselves and not get caught up in the negativity, because it's easy to get caught up in the negativity that's going on around us.
Absolutely. So definitely, you know, and that's something that you don't need to be trained in, and, you know, you can just call in love. You can just visualize love. You can just, you know, have the intention of having more peace and love in your space. Okay, so, all right, Krystalya, let's talk about the process. I know we're going to do a process today. Let's do that.
Okay, so you have two different images in front of you, and the first one, the chakra opening and balancing, is the one with the purple background, and then the other one's opening to receive, or allowing yourself to receive. So the easiest way to use the symbol is pick one of these ways.
Okay.
A, put the palm of your non-dominant hand close to the monitor. You do not have to touch the monitor. And just allow, and the non-dominant hand, because it's more sensitive to energy, because you use it less. So you can just put it close and allow yourself to absorb the energy. And I like to close my eyes when I do that. Another way to do it is gaze at it, get the image in your mind's eye, and then close your eyes and just start to visualize it. And many people experience them that way as 3D. I have that happen. They start spinning and everything. And then another way is some people just love gazing at it and absorbing the energy that way, and that works perfectly too. So what I would like you to do is literally take 20 seconds and just take time to take a deep breath in and pick one of those methods and just allow the energy to start to flow. So what's happening while you're doing this, so I'm going to describe what's happening inside the energy body. What's happening is you're bringing in golden light through the crown chakra, and it is literally taking that golden light and energizing every single cell and particle of our body. Okay? And then we are expanding the root chakra energy, the red energy at the lower base of the spine. And then we're expanding the sacral one, that's just the one just above, which is orange, right just below the belly button. And as those two expand, they start to work together. They start melding together. And we move up the body to the solar plexus where we breathe in yellow energy there. And that's our creativity center and our solar plexus. Then we breathe in green light into the center of our chest, and that opens our heart. And again, all of the energy centers are working together so that energy is flowing, and we move up and we open up our throat center with the indigo blue light that's there so that we can speak our truth and say what we need to say and not hold back. We move into next the third eye, which is in the center of the forehead, and that's violet light. And that one for me is eyes, ears, and nose, but it's also our third eye, which connects to spirit. And then we move up to the crown chakra at the top of the head, which is where we open up to source. And you'll notice if you're looking at the image, there's two additional ones. There's a silver one above the top of the head. It's about 6 to 8 inches above the top of the head. That's connecting to the cosmos. And the one above that with the gold is connecting to the God universal intelligence energy. So it's as simple as that, and then we'll move to the opening to receive symbol, again using it the same way. And here, if you look at it for a moment before you start the process, you'll see the fun flow of it. It's just literally flowing. But it's opening us up to allow us to just receive the abundance the universe has for us. And so the way I see this one working is it literally is spinning as it's going, and it's charging every one of our cells in our body as we're working with it to just kind of open up more, but allow us to receive that which is in our highest good. And so literally for me, I use these two symbols for about 20 seconds apiece when I'm doing this, and it's that quick because you don't have. I could sit here and explain it all, but it really is that fast to do, and you're now open to receiving until you put up a block by letting the negative mind click back in. So what I suggest you do is come right back to the process as soon as you notice and do it again. And the more often you do it, the longer you'll stay in that flow of abundance and opening to receive.
I love that. That was, for me, I found the chakra one, because I'm really connected to the chakra. I was able to experience all of them, really strongly. And now with the receiving one, I felt a lot of expansion, mostly in my third eye and crown area, But I was looking at the image, and it's like, oh, it's a vortex, Because earlier I was looking at it, it's like a triangle. It's like it's a vortex, a vortex of energy. It's like, okay, I got it, And I love. It's like it doesn't take much to experience something. Like you said, 20 seconds is really all you need, right? But it's just about being silent and present in your body and just focusing just on that, and silencing your mind and, for 20 seconds. We can do that. That was fun. Thank you.
You're welcome. It's like I kind of feel like my talking is a distraction from the beauty and simplicity of the whole thing sometimes, because it is as simple as 20 seconds of just allowing yourself to bring that energy in and then knowing that you are now open to receive all the abundance the universe has to offer.
Powerful. Thank you. It's like, wow, that's impressive. Yeah, I really enjoyed that.
I want to make sure it's clear. I suggest you always open your chakras before you do any of the other work, because you want the flow of energy working within your body before you start the rest of it. Because if you have other blocks in your energy field, it's not going to work as well.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, perfect. Thank you. Yeah, absolutely makes sense. Oh, I feel good.
Yeah, I'm kind of floating right now, so I have to ground myself a little.
All right, so now we're going to go to the phone line as soon as you're grounded, Krystalya.
We're good.
All right, so we're going to go to phone number ending in 1596. 1596. Hello? Hello? I think I kind of hear you, not sure. Randy, are you there? Okay, maybe not.
I hear something, but I can't understand him.
Yeah, I'm not getting anything. All right, well, hope you're doing well, Randy. We will send you some blessings and some energetic support.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, all right, perfect. Yeah, it's not working. Okay, no worries. We're sending you some love and some blessings and some energetic support, Randy.
Yep, I'm doing the same.
Yeah, perfect. All right, so I'm still quite buzzing, from from those two Krystagraphs that we did, and I love the term that you picked for them, because I don't remember if when we spoke, back in 2014, if that's what you were calling them, but it's like it just makes so much sense, and
it was one of those guided moments. No, back then I was still calling them symbols. And one day I got clear guidance, kind of that little bop on the head that said, you should call those Krystagraphs.
Yeah. Yeah, I love them. I love that. So I'm glad you did. I'm just checking and to see, sometimes it can be as simple as, like you said, 20 seconds of looking at a symbol. But also, in the past, I think what you've done is you've actually placed the symbol on the body somewhere, which is great too for something physical. But these can be used for a variety of different things. I mean, yes, today we're talking about prosperity, but it could be used for, self-love, physical ailments and so on, as well as mental, emotional,
Let me share an example of wearing one that really helped one person, and it actually worked for me as well. So I don't suffer from sciatica as often as this person. They were suffering regularly and going to chiropractors like regularly and weren't getting enough relief, and they asked me for a symbol. And I had one for sciatica relief, so I sent it to them. And they put it on their body by taping it. Now, I recommend if you're going to do this that you tape it with first aid tape, because otherwise you'll get a rash. Mm-hmm. And you don't want to tape anything in the same spot too many times either. You can start to get a skin rash. But she taped it to that area and did the little process I recommended for whatever sciatica means, and at the moment it's not coming to me. But it's something to do with moving forward. Mm-hmm. And literally within 24 hours she wrote me a note and said, the sciatica had totally gone away. She had no more pain. It was totally gone. And she had spent hundreds of dollars on chiropractors who hadn't been able to help her. Now, it doesn't work the same for everyone. I can't guarantee that's what would happen for you. But I have people that have had those kinds of experiences. I stick them inside my bra sometimes if I've got something I'm working on that I want that energetic support for longer than just 20 seconds, I just stick the image with it against my skin so the image is facing my body, wear it in my bra. And
Why
I'm
not,
looking
right?
at getting tattoos, but I haven't found anything that's non-toxic yet, so I'm still looking.
Okay. Yeah. And so have you made things like coasters as well out of them too? So can we use them as coasters?
I have coasters occasionally. I haven't found a good manufacturer that is white enough for the white background. But I also have a mouse pad that I use for EMS. I've created pillowcases for people that like to sleep with them. And by the way, you can pick certain ones and sleep with them by printing them. If you're getting the kit, you can print them and put them underneath the sheet where you're sleeping and absorb the energy while you're sleeping. Be a little careful as to what you're doing there because you don't want it to keep you awake. You got to be careful what you select for something like that. But yeah, you can use them in many, many ways. And I think I mentioned that I also put them on my water bottle and absorb it. So I do the intention of what each one is for as well when I'm doing that. And then as I'm drinking the water, I intend that I get the perfect amount of whatever that is, including that's how I do my supplements, by the way.
Beautiful.
So
thank you.
Vitamin C, all of that.
So there's lots of ways to use them. It's, not just by looking at them, but there's different ways. And I love, images. I love pictures, and so for me, I would just, have them on my walls as well,
Yep.
And they would raise the vibration and frequency in the room, just by being there, right?
Absolutely. And I do occasionally, if people want one, there is a place I can get a canvas printed for them with them on too.
Interesting. Okay, cool. That might be an idea.
And I have I have decks of cards with them like a playing deck of cards, except with the symbols on them.
Okay, perfect. So lots of different ways to use them, lots of uses, but not just that. I mean, they're pretty, but they're practical, and they're powerful. So just those 20 seconds that we used them right now on this call, I really felt the energy of both of them really strongly. And it's so important to keep our chakras balanced and charged up and energized and clear so that we can function holistically, be more in balance so that we can have that prosperous life, so that we can do more of what we desire and have more of what we desire and be of service and contribution in a full way instead of limited, instead of it being difficult. So Krystalya, I know we only have a few minutes left, but did you have any last words of wisdom for us?
I do, but I want to share one other quick thing first that triggered it. Just came to me as so a lot of people ask me, can children use these images? And the answer is, if they ask for them or they point at them and they're interested, absolutely. I wouldn't force them on them. But yes, they can absolutely use them. It will not do any harm to them or anything like that. And I have teddy bears available too with some images on them. Okay.
And so then, of course, my next question around that would be, okay, what about pets? Do pets and animals, can you use these symbols, these Krystagraphs with your animals as well?
Absolutely. Yes.
Thank
you for asking that. That's another question I get quite frequently. So yes, they can also be used with pets.
Perfect.
So, and sometimes what I do with pets is actually charge their water too, because it's hard to get it to stay on them for long. So.
Yeah, true. But you can put a Krystagraph on underneath their water bowl or something like that, just
charge some water in a pitcher and then fill the bowl with the water afterwards. Yeah, there's lots of ways to do it. So back to your question.
Yes, for sure.
What I really want to say to everyone is this is a journey, okay? It's not like everything is going to be perfectly the way you want it to be, but it is perfectly divinely guided to the way that's going to be in your highest good if you allow it to be. And if you don't put up struggles. But the key here, as far as I'm concerned, is to really move into that loving space with yourself as often as you possibly can. Every time you notice yourself judging yourself, take a moment to say, I'm worthy, I love myself, I'm not this bad person that I just judge myself to be, because we are our worst critics. And then my final thing is, pick something you absolutely love to do and make a commitment while we're still here on the call that you're going to do that for yourself every day. You're going to do one thing, make some commitment that you're going to do one thing that you love, and you're going to do it. If every day doesn't work because it's something really big, then whatever that periodic thing is. But I prefer to have something small that you can do every day to show yourself that you love and appreciate yourself. Something on, besides just affirmations and meditation and all that, but something else that you love doing, or that will make you feel loved. It's really important for us to affirm how loved we are every single day by treating ourselves like we're loved.
Oh, that's beautiful. I love that. And I'm trying to think of something for myself, right? Because and I'm thinking, okay, what can I do every day to show to myself that I'm worthy and that I love myself, And it's like, I've realized in the past couple of months that one of the things that I have not done, and that I love to do is just read, just reading for fun, not reading self-help and all that stuff, but just reading for fun. I haven't done that. I haven't taken that time for myself in a long time. So you know what? I'm going to go back and start reading just for fun because I love to read. So that's important.
Or a lot of people don't take time to take that long, warm, hot bath with a little candlelight.
Yes.
Whatever it is that, gives you that pleasure that you just don't take time for yourself for. That's what we're talking about. So your example is great. I think that's one of the keys for me is either reading or that bath is another thing that gets me.
Absolutely. No, thank you. That's a great reminder. So absolutely. So, I'm asking you now, the audience, what are you going to do for yourself? Be committed to yourself, to love yourself, to know that you're worthy and deserving. What are you going to do for yourself every day or, at least every other day, right? To show to yourself that you love yourself and that you're worthy. Take a moment and think of that. And, as we close today, come back into the circle, into this radiant light healing circle, and just come back to your heart space and just breathe in the love and the energy and the wonderful wisdom and teachings that we learned today. Breathe them into your being. Just really digest all of them and take them all in. And then send out a little bit of that out to everybody else listening on the call and who will listen later. And also send your love and your gratitude for being present, right now, for being in this world, for living this beautiful life that we have, because we have so much, and be grateful for that. And be grateful for the love and support that we receive from Spirit, from our guides, from these wonderful teachers who are coming on this show with us, and for the rest of our community. We are so blessed to have you all with us, and I thank you all from the bottom of my heart for being here, being with me, spending this time with us, and I love you all. Sending you all much love and blessings, and thank you so much, Krystalya, for being with us again. It was so much fun. I learned, it's such a wonderful conversation.
Laura, I've learned as well through this conversation, so thank you, and thank you to all the listeners because you all blessed me, and Laura, you've blessed me with your beautiful, loving energy being here today. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you, and thank you to Dr. Robert for coming on as well and sharing your love and sharing your wisdom and teachings with us as well. Your presence means so much to us, and I'm sending you hugs and love and hope you're doing well. We'll talk again soon. But this has just been what a gift. So thank you, everyone. Have a great day, have a great evening, and continue to live your life filled with joy, peace, love, abundance, and happiness. And we'll see you again soon. Until then, much love and blessings always.